Hello, everybody. We'll give it just a minute for everyone to join and then we'll get started. All right, we still have some trickling in, so I'll give it just a couple more seconds here. Okay, looks like we've pretty much evened out, so we can go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. I am Jessica Martin, the Director of Member and Volunteer Engagement here with the SOA. We really appreciate you being here with us today. It's a super exciting year for us in running our first community elections. This is the final step in the evolution from sections to communities. So we're super excited to have you here and have our members be excited about this next step with us as well. Before I turn it over to Dee, a couple of housekeeping notes. You can go ahead and type your questions in the Q&A box at any time, and we'll go ahead and answer those at the end of this presentation. The webcast is also being recorded, so the slides and the link to the recording will be sent to you in just a few days. Now I'll turn it over to Dee to go ahead and get us started.
Thanks so much, Jess. Next slide, please. And next slide. Okay, so congratulations on being a candidate for your community advisory team. We greatly appreciate you running in this election. Being part of a community advisory team offers numerous ways for you to use and grow your skills, including your communication, leadership, and strategy skills. You'll have many opportunities to network and build relationships with colleagues who share similar interests. We want to thank you for your time today. My name is Dee Berger. I'll be presenting today with Carla Eisenberg and Caitlin Kramer, engagement specialists, and of course, Jessica Martin, our Director of Member and Volunteer Engagement, who you've already met, all of whom currently work directly with specific sections. So during this presentation, you'll learn more about what it means to serve on a community advisory team. You'll also learn about the election process, including key dates for you to keep in mind. Next slide. First up, we've got a fun little poll. So we would love to know how best to reach out to future volunteers. We work really hard to reach a diverse group of actuaries, and your feedback here will ensure that we understand what types of outreach are the most effective. So tell us how you heard about and decided to run for community elections this year. So if we could go ahead and open the poll. I would love to see all of our participants respond to this. We would love to get a really good picture of how best to reach out to you. We'll give it a few seconds for you all to respond. I always love to see the results of this one because they vary so much. So Jess, when you're ready, if you want to close that poll and share some results, that would be great. SOA email. That's awesome. We want to thank you guys for reading those emails. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Caitlin to talk about the community advisory team structure.
Thank you, Dee. We can go to the next slide. All right, now we're going to move into what to expect as a member of the community advisory team. I think you'll be surprised by how much fun you can have while leading your community. Next slide. This word cloud gives you an idea of what you'll be doing once you are elected to a community advisory team. Leading your community and engaging with members by guiding the development of content for meetings, webcast, newsletters, and podcasts are at the center of the community advisory team experience. While accomplishing that work, you will learn about yourself, the profession, your fellow actuaries, and the SOA. It is not unusual for volunteers to form lifelong friendships and make connections with people from across the globe. Next slide. The Community Advisory Team, or the CAT, provides overall strategic guidance for each community. As part of the CAT, you can support career growth and mentor individuals within the community. Through these roles, you can collaborate, share knowledge, provide resources, and create valuable networking opportunities for the community. This team also oversees the content and engagement work group and topic subgroup volunteers. In this initial transition year from sections to communities, community advisory teams are currently composed of varying sizes. Over the next several years, this will reduce to 9 to 12 members. Community advisory team members typically serve a 3-year term. Each community advisory team has officers that are elected by their fellow CAT members to lead the council. The elected officers are chair, vice chair, secretary, and budget manager. Officers are elected for 1 year. You'll see that the CAT also has a number of other important roles that we'll go into with the newly elected leaders. Each community will have assigned SOA staff support to act as the council's liaison to the SOA. Engagement specialists provide monthly SOA updates and additional support and resources. Next slide. Each community advisory team member is expected to actively participate in all CAT discussions, whether they take place during a call, a face-to-face meeting, or in various email exchanges that take place between CAT members throughout the year. Specifically, community advisory team members are expected to participate in a monthly council call. There is 1 monthly call scheduled for the full community advisory team. CAT elected leaders, which are the chair, the vice chair, secretary, and budget manager, will also participate in a monthly leadership call. Community advisory team members are asked to review the agenda and background documents prior to the monthly call. Preparation is key to a productive and efficient call. Content engagement workgroup managers, research managers, and PD liaison roles will have additional meetings to attend monthly or quarterly. Community advisory team members may be expected to participate in face-to-face meetings. Face-to-face meetings are most productive when all community advisory team members are present. Face-to-face meetings can be held in conjunction with a major SOA meeting or as a standalone meeting. Meeting length can range from several hours to a day and a half, and decisions about those face-to-face meetings are made by the CAT. CAT members are expected to participate in polls and votes. CAT members can vote by voice in the monthly meeting or via an email poll. It is important that all members participate in a timely manner. Community advisory team members may, but are not required to volunteer for additional roles and projects in the community structure. Projects can include contributing to webcast or podcast coordination, coordinating and/or writing for the community newsletter, organizing sessions at SOA meetings and community-related seminars, championing a new subgroup, or coordinating networking events. Each of these roles is vital to carrying out the community's activities for the year. And next slide. As mentioned, in addition to the community advisory team members, there is a group of non-elected volunteers who take on roles in the content and engagement work group. Unlike community advisory team members, content engagement workgroup volunteers are not elected members of the CAT and therefore cannot vote in any decisions that the CAT makes. The content engagement workgroup consists of additional volunteers that are actively involved with community activities. These volunteers may help with additional roles such as newsletter editor, or may assist with generating ideas and organizing presenters for a community workshop, webcast, or SOA meeting. You'll see that the content engagement workgroup manager is, however, a member of the CAT. Their role is to report activities and needs between the two groups. We'll go into more detail to the content engagement workgroups, as well as the subgroup structure at the newly elected leaders webcast. Next slide. We have a few candidates who have chosen to run for more than 1 community advisory team. We caution candidates about this because candidates are only able to serve on 1 community advisory team at a time. Your expertise may be just a fit via a non-elected volunteer role with another community. Once you are elected, you will be required to sign the volunteer agreement. All SOA volunteers are required to sign the volunteer agreement, which reviews items such as volunteer conduct, confidentiality, conflict of interest, volunteer contributions, and antitrust to protect all volunteers and the organization. A detailed email about the volunteer agreement will be sent to newly elected community advisory team members. All CAT members are part of the SOA and as such are required to abide by SOA bylaws and policies. In addition, all community advisory teams have a set of bylaws that provide guidance on areas such as election process, CAP participation, and much more. Next slide. And now for the fun part. Each of you brings a wealth of knowledge and experiences that can benefit your community advisory team right now. If you're wondering what areas might be a good fit for you, start with the SOA webpage. Information about community evolution and the volunteer structure is available on the SOA website by clicking on sections and communities on the navigation bar shown on your screen. You'll find FAQs, community governance, and content currently produced in the section model that will continue into the community model. And next slide. And did you know that last year, sections provided the majority of educational content at all 3 of our major meetings and hosted multiple boot camps, seminars, and numerous webcasts? As community advisory team members, you'll have the opportunity to contribute to the direction of community activities, actively network with peers who share your interests, and lead your community's work to produce exceptional educational content. You'll also be the first to hear breaking news about the profession and developments at the SOA. There will be several opportunities to meet and work with other leaders in your areas of interest and gain additional leadership experience, so don't miss your chance to be in the room. And next, I'll turn to Carla to talk about next steps.
And now we'll get down to the basics, your next steps as a candidate. Next slide. To get your information included on the ballot, there are 3 main things for you to do leading up to the election. 1, submit your completed questionnaire. 2, submit your photo. And 3, campaign. Next, please. Voting opens on August 18th and closes on September 5th. Please be sure to vote during this period and encourage your friends and coworkers to vote. To be eligible to vote for a community advisory team, an SOA member is required to join any current section that will be mapped to the community that you are running for, and to do this no later than July 31st. Section and community memberships are a free benefit of your SOA membership. After the election closes, your next important job is to be available when we contact you with the results. We require verbal or written confirmation that you have received the results of the election. And if you are elected, we'll need to know that you're still willing to accept this responsibility. If you are a candidate who has opted to remain on the ballot for more than one community advisory team, and you are elected to more than one, you will be required to select one community advisory team on which to serve your elected term. Therefore, it is critical for us to reach you in a timely manner, so remaining candidates can also be reached. We know that sometimes situations change between the time you submit your information and the time of the election. So contact us at any time if your circumstances change and you can no longer assume this responsibility. If elected, you'll take office on November 5th, the last day of the 2025 SOA Impact Conference. Next, we'll go over the details of community elections. So let me reintroduce myself. I'm Carla Eisenberg. Caitlin Kramer and I are your main contacts for the election process this year. Later today, we'll send you an email that includes all the information you need regarding next steps in the process. The email will include the candidate questionnaire for you to fill out and the election schedule so you don't miss any deadlines. We'll also include 2 sample questionnaires so you can see a few examples of what others have done in the past. Next. Here are key dates to remember. June 15th is the last day to submit your questionnaire and photo, which will be posted to the SOA website in mid to late July. Voting will open on August 18th and close on September 5th. We'll contact each of you personally by phone with the results between September 19th and September 26th, unless the time zone makes that difficult, in which case we'll need to email you. Election results will be posted to the SOA website only after everyone has been contacted. After the community election results have been posted on the SOA website, we will hold another webcast for newly elected council members, newly elected CAT members. On November 5th, the work begins, and those who were elected will take office. Next. As I mentioned earlier, this afternoon we'll send you an email with the questionnaire and other relevant information, and you'll want to read that carefully. Your answers on the questionnaire become your bio, which is posted on the SOA website and included with the official ballot. Your bio will be listed in the order it is received. So if you want to be at the top of the list, send it in quickly. Also, your information will be posted exactly as you send it. So please be sure to proofread your work. Your questionnaire and photo are due no later than Sunday, June 15th, a little less than 2 weeks from today. The questionnaire will ask about your professional background, your SOA volunteer experience, and any other relevant volunteer experience you may have. It will also ask why you want to serve on a community advisory team. We also request that you send a professional-looking photo to be included with your bio on the ballot. Next. These photos, or photos like them, may not be appropriate, as you want to be recognized from your photo and be recognized in a professional way. Next, here are a few good examples of photos with outside or corporate backgrounds. And on the next slide are a few examples of headshot photos with neutral backgrounds. Next, please. And here are a few tips put together by the SOA design team. Please send your photo as an attachment. Photos embedded in a Word document or the body of an email are low resolution and typically cannot be used. And please send your photos in a JPEG or TIFF format. GIF images cannot be accepted. Now, on to campaigning. We ask that you campaign in a way that is tasteful and respectful of all nominees. And while you can campaign, the SOA must remain impartial and may not endorse or help any individual in their campaign. We'll post your bio on the SOA website, and your bio will be on the ballot. You can contact your friends and business associates who are members of a section or community and encourage them to vote for you. And you can post things on your own personal social media. You can also encourage others to join current sections and the emerging topics community. To be eligible to vote for a community advisory team, an SOA member is required to join any current section that will be mapped to that community, the one that you are running for, no later than July 31st. Section and community memberships are a free benefit of your SOA membership. Shortly after voting ends, we'll receive the election results. And once results are in, SOA staff will contact the community advisory team chairs. Then either a community advisory team member or an SOA staff member will contact you personally by phone, unless there's a large time difference, in which case we'll email you. If we're unable to speak to you in person and we leave you a voicemail, please call us back as soon as possible. It is critical that we reach you in a timely manner so as not to delay the release of the election results. If we're unable to reach you after a few tries, we'll leave you a voicemail and we'll email you. If you are elected, we need confirmation that you received the results and that you are still willing and able to take on this responsibility. If we speak to you on the phone, you can verbally confirm. But if we need to leave you a voicemail or an email, please respond with your confirmation as soon as possible. The results will be posted to the SOA website only after everyone has been contacted. Unlike the board elections, no numerical results will be given. You will only be told whether you want a seat on the community advisory team or not. Running for office can put you in a vulnerable position, especially if things don't go your way. But I hope that none of you will feel bad if you don't get elected. Win or lose, I hope you'll volunteer to help us get the work done. This year, each election is competitive. And if you are not elected, there are many other ways to get involved in volunteering with communities. This fall, we'll be posting open positions for the content and engagement work groups, as well as community subgroups. These are opportunities to volunteer in a non-elected role. This is a great way to get involved and contribute your expertise. And if there is an opening on the community advisory team, for whatever reason, you will be on the list of possible appointees to fill that term for the rest of the year. We need each and every one of you. Next, please. And here is a review of the key dates. First important date to remember is Sunday, June 15th. That is the last day to send your questionnaire and photo. And of course, if you send it in sooner, all the better. Mid to late July is when the bios will be posted on the SOA website. Again, they are listed in the order in which they are received. So that's one incentive to send it in sooner rather than later. If we don't receive a questionnaire and photo by the deadline, we'll list your name, credentials, company, and city on the ballot. Well, that's what you need to know to get on the official ballot. Caitlin and I are looking forward to receiving your questionnaires and photos and working with you throughout the election process. Good luck to all. And now I'll turn it back to Jessica.
Thank you, Carla, Caitlin, and Dee. We'd like to thank each and every one of you as well for taking the time to run for the community advisory teams during this transitionary year. It's a great start to what we hope will be one of the most rewarding volunteer positions you'll ever hold. The SOA would not be able to function without all of your expertise. This is your opportunity to shape the future of the actuarial profession through the community leadership. Now I'll invite Dee back to open it up for questions.
Thanks, Jess. As mentioned, we will be opening this up for questions. And I see folks are already using the Q&A box. Thank you. And please continue to put any questions in there. I will go ahead and kind of start to answer these. Once elected, is this a volunteer or a paid role? This is definitely a volunteer role. We only utilize volunteer roles in this particular capacity. And as Carla mentioned earlier, we will be sharing the recording of this presentation along with the slide deck with all individuals who have expressed interest in running for community advisory team elections. Question about how candidates win an election and whether it's just the number of votes. So yes, that would be correct. Individuals who achieve the highest number of votes would be the winners of the elections. So the top 4 vote getters for each community advisory team would be the elected winners, or winners of the election. Keep those questions coming. Give everybody a couple more minutes to finish typing. All right, not seeing any additional questions. One more has come in. How long is the term and does the entire CAT go up for reelection each year? This is a great question, actually. The term is a 3-year elected term. The entire CAT does not go up for reelection each year. We do kind of a rotating system, very similar in concept to the SOA board. So approximately a third of the community advisory team is elected each year. Question about voting eligibility. Anyone who is a community member is able to vote in community elections. So ASA, FSA, doesn't matter. You're able to vote in community elections as long as you're a member of that community. Question about the expected time commitment each month. For community advisory team, it really depends on which role you choose to fill. If you are interested in a leadership role, it may be an extra hour or two, but we expect in general for a community advisory team member to see somewhere around a 2-hour per month commitment. So it's not significantly onerous. However, there is definitely a commitment there. Questions about travel expenses for in-person meetings. That would depend on your community advisory team and their voting, as well as which meetings we would be talking about. We have a really fantastic set of guiding principles around these types of questions in our community advisory team best practices, which if you are elected, we'll make sure you are sent. Total number of candidates participating this year. That is a great question that I don't know the answer to.
54, Dee.
Thank you so much, Carla. So 54 total candidates among the 7 community advisory teams. Question about whether CPD credits are earned through this particular volunteer role. I would say that I am not necessarily the right person to answer that question. Some of those credits are earned very much at the discretion of the individual, although this doesn't generally fall under the education category. Some of our non-elected volunteer roles may fit that particular area a little bit better. So if, for instance, you are developing content for a webcast or researching material for an article, that may fall into that category, but community advisory team is more strategic leadership of the community. Let's see. Do CAT members receive a complimentary invitation to the SOA annual meeting? The answer to that is no. There's actually no one who receives a complimentary registration outside of
Anniversary.
yeah, 35 and 50-year anniversary. Jess, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
please. Thank you
That's
so much.
correct.
Yeah, that we don't do that. Question about when you may learn how many candidates are running for the open slots on any given community advisory team. Yes, all 7 community advisory teams do have a competitive slate. So there are more than 4 candidates running for each. You will be able to see how many candidates there are once the list of candidates is posted, and I anticipate that'll be coming out in a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, Carla.
Mid to late July.
Thank you. The bio and headshot submissions are done by email. You'll receive a questionnaire via email today that you will be able to complete and return along with that headshot attachment. Question about whether CAT members need to be in North America. That is a big no. We are grateful for our global representation of candidates this year, and we encourage folks inside and outside of North America to run. We are generally able to find some pretty agreeable times to accommodate some of those geographical differences, and we do our best to accommodate everyone. Question about if the priorities change mid-year, can someone who received less votes be brought in to replace you? We don't do that. If you are elected to a 3-year term and you choose to serve out your entire term, we hold space for you, no problem. We don't generally replace folks on a community advisory team unless a vacancy occurs through resignation. So that's not a concern at all. Can we share the makeup of the committee? I'm not sure. The question that came in specifically reads, can you share the makeup of the committee after this webcast? And I'm not sure which committee we're referring to there. But we're happy to share anything that's publicly available on the website. But if you have specific questions, please feel free to reach out to communityelections@soa.org, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
I'd only add to that, Dee, is to your point that we have public information online. If you are curious of who is currently on section councils that will be moving into the community structure, or who's currently rotating off, that is all available on each individual section or the emerging topics community's website. So they're individual landing pages on soa.org. You can go see everyone's who's currently serving and their terms.
That's a great point. Thank you, Jess. Question about how our community volunteers selected. That really is self-nomination. So if you wanted to fulfill another volunteer role within the community advisory team or the content and engagement work group, we will have volunteer opportunities open through our volunteer database later in the year. And of course, you are welcome to reach out to any of us via email as well. The structure of the community advisory team is available on soa.org. I think Jess is going to put the link into the chat maybe for us. And question about the total number of candidates for each community. Again, that'll be posted in July. There are 4 openings for all communities with the exception of general insurance, which we are starting from scratch. So there are somewhere between 9 and 12 open slots there. Any additional questions? All right, not seeing any. I want to thank everyone again for your time this morning. Be sure to keep an eye out for the email you'll receive later with the link to the recording, the slide deck, the questionnaire. And of course, if you have any questions at any time, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at communityelections@soa.org. Good luck to everyone. Thank you all.